Bret Hart. 2021 season is starting off not the way we expected it. We're still in quarantine, we're still in pandemic, so we want to remind you always to maintain the profiles and protocols of the pandemic. Wash your hands, try to wear a mask when you're around people, stay away from people that you're not around on a regular basis, all of those health things. You'll be learning about plenty of that stuff as we go through. But for PE purposes, this is our first time greeting you, so welcome. We're glad to have you in our classes. We wish you were right here with us. Unfortunately, you're not, so we're going to make do with what we got. We're going to go through just a couple of things to help us get this year started. First and foremost, I am Mr. Shoemaker. All right, if you're in Mr. Shoemaker's 7th grade PE class, that's me. Most of you guys know me, but if you don't, great to meet you. I am a former Bret Hart Bronco. I went to Bret Hart a long time ago, we'll just say that. And I graduated from Gunderson High School afterwards, and I went on to San Jose State. My favorite sports are football, boxing, hockey, track and field. I like baseball. I like it all. I like motorcycles. I love just being active and getting out and going. I love to travel. I majored in geography. I really like to learn about that. I'm also the coordinator of the GOB, so you may see me there if you're into geography as well. But we'll have plenty of time to get to know each other, and we'll get to know each other pretty in depth, especially hopefully you guys are back within 6 weeks. But let's pass the mic to my left here. Your right, we have Mr. Morton-Himwig. He's going to introduce himself, and we'll go right down the line.
Hi guys, Mr. Morton-Himwig here. I'm actually getting some of Mr. Mitchell's students from last year, and now some of Mr. Shoemaker's students from last year. If you were in Shoemaker's class last year, these videos might seem a little familiar to you because Mr. Shoemaker and I did some of these videos at the end of last year when we got on lockdown. So one thing I would say is try to keep your positive attitude high, because attitude determines altitude. You're going to go only so far as your attitude will carry you. So Mr. Mitchell and Mr. Shoemaker and I will do our best to get across ideas, some educational tools for you to experience and to grow during this lockdown time. But stay positive. And I would say also stay positive with the people in your home, because they're the ones that love you most. My favorite sports, to play football, to watch probably baseball. I'm going to hand it over to my friend and your new teacher, you fresh 6th graders, Mr. Mitchell.
Congratulations, 6th graders, on being 7th graders. Now, some of you might remember me from last year. If you remember me, raise your hand. Got you there. All right, so like Mr. Mortimer said, you just got to be positive through this. It's really a tough time, but you got to stay positive, because sooner or later, we're going to win, and this COVID's going to be over. But in the meantime, we're going to set up some nice videos for you. We're going to keep you moving, and before you know it, you'll be back in school, and I'll be face-to-face with you, and then we'll just take it from there. So, Mr. Shoemaker?
Well, folks, we met the 3 teachers that you'll be having, one of us each. Here's the deal. We're realists. We understand that some of you guys have been riding 25 miles and hiking in Quicksilver and running the trails and doing all this kind of stuff, and some of you are swimming, and some of you are playing soccer still and practicing and all that, and that's wonderful. But we also recognize that there are plenty of people who haven't been able to move maybe at all in this entire pandemic since we've been out of school. Some people have been stuck inside the house, or they have a loved one at high risk, and so they're really not able to move. So this whole course, the beginning especially, is just designed to get you from your baseline, bottom line, no movement, to get back in the swing of moving. Now, all that is to say is we are going to start just by learning some basic exercises and then learning the body. If you had me last year, then some of this may be familiar with you, but we're going to learn it anyway. All right, we're going to start with the body and the anatomy. Okay, first and foremost, your body is organs inside of a skeletal cage. All right, your skeletal cage is covered with muscles, and then on top of the muscles are skin. All right, you also have ligaments and tendons, and we'll talk about those later, what their functions are. But suffice it to say that they connect the muscles to the bones and also the muscles to each other. All right, everywhere on your body, you have a number of joints. Again, your body is basically bones stacked on top of each other. What would happen if you did not have a skeleton? You'd be one flat mass on the ground of organs and skin. So, you have skeleton holding up your entire body structure. Now, everywhere two bones meet and there's motion allowed is what is called a joint. Now, don't overthink these things, guys. We know a lot of these joints just based upon what we have already talked about, what we've learned through our entire upbringing as a kid, right? We know that where the arm bends, the joint that separates the two bones of the arm, is called the elbow. The one in the knees, it's the knee, all right? That's where between, you got your shin bone, you have your thigh bone. We'll learn the proper names of these. In between those is your knee. You got fingers, you got your neck, you got your shoulders. There's different types of joints. We'll learn all about this. But for now, we're just going to learn about how the joints work and then how the muscles work in comparison. So for instance, you have a elbow joint. The elbow joint bends. The two bones allows movement. You have two muscles that will control the joint, which is the elbow. All right? In this case, it's the bicep and the tricep. Those aren't our muscles for today, but just giving you an example of that. All right? The first muscle we're going to learn, and we're going to go from top to bottom, because this is our main focus to get you guys to understand what muscles we're going to use. The one we're going to start with is the trapezius muscle. And the trapezius muscle runs from your neck all the way to your shoulder. All right? And the purpose of the trapezius is to raise the shoulder girdle. So, up and down. Let's see it, guys. Up and down. Up and down. What we like to call it in my class is the I don't know muscle. What's up? I don't know. Every time you lift your shoulders towards your ears, that is utilizing the trapezius muscle. So, up and down. Now, how does it work? How can you strengthen it? Great question. The way you strengthen the trapezius muscle, or any muscle for that matter, is whichever way that the muscle works. In this case, it's bringing the shoulders up. You add resistance to it. That could be body weight resistance. That could be weight resistance. Okay? For this case, if you had something to grab or pick up, you had a backpack, for instance, or a chair. This is very light, but you should try with a bag or maybe 5 to 10 pounds, maybe more than that. You can hold in front of you and just do the motion. Squeeze it and release it. All right? Now, that seems easy one time, no big deal. But if you do it 10 times, or if you have enough resistance, you'll get growth in that muscle. So, just starting with a little bit of information for you. Again, we're going to go over all this stuff for you. We know we're just getting back in here, but we just want to introduce you to kind of the way that things will roll and also to the muscles and the anatomy of the body. So, first muscle of the day is the trapezius. It runs from your neck to your shoulder. And one more time, fellas, the motion is,
I don't know.
I don't know. Lifting these shoulders towards the ears. So, gotta learn all this stuff. We're gonna get in, we're gonna get some exercise going, but for now, we're also gonna continue a little bit about ourselves, just to get us into the rapport mode, to learn about you, for you guys to learn about us, and just so we know what's going on.
So Mr. Shoemaker, how many, if they were doing sets of this, just real quick before we move on, how many sets of 10, sets of 20, where would they start?
Well, it's a good idea to start always with a set of 10. What's a set, Mr. Shoemaker? Great question, all right? If you do an exercise, the many times that you do each individual exercise is called a repetition. So, if I were to do an exercise like we were talking about, you really should grab your backpack or something. It's probably something a little bit heavier, but if you're going to do this, one time is one repetition. So if I do 10 repetitions, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, try to get it all the way up. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 10 repetitions or reps. All right? That entirety of 10 repetitions equals one set. Now, a great beginner starting point is you want to do 3 sets of 10 repetitions. So I did 10 individuals, that's repetitions. You have 1 set, you want to do that. You want to rest in between, maybe a minute and a half, and then do another set. And you want to do that 3 times. So 3 sets of 10 repetitions.
Good. Remember, guys, towards the end of this unit, we're going to test you on these muscles. So pay close attention to the muscles being taught, what they do, and how you can work them. Hey, guys, I was thinking, let's tell our students what our favorite song is. I'll start, and then Mr. Mitchell, you go, and then Mr. Shoemaker, you wrap it up. Favorite song. I'm going to sing a couple of lyrics. I'm going to pull this up a little bit, sing my favorite song. Goes something like this. Standing in the rain, with his head hung low, couldn't get a ticket. It was a sold out show. He was a jukebox hero, stars in his eyes. I know Mr. Mitchell wants me to continue, but I can't. We're running on time. Mr. Mitchell, what's your favorite song?
All right, so I love all music. I like reggae, I like rock, I like blues, I like funk, I like it all. But since it's COVID time, I figure I'll start with the Police, and I'll start with Don't stand, don't stand, don't stand too close to me. Don't stand, don't stand, don't stand too close to me.
All right. You know what, guys? We are in COVID times, all right? Trying to make this entertaining for you. We got to be serious too, but at the same time, I would challenge you to do the best that you can do in the environment you're in, and also don't let it stress you out. Make sure you're taking care of yourself, make sure your family's safe, your loved ones, and that's the most important thing, all right? And for me, that leads me to the song, maybe not my favorite song of all time. I like the song a lot, but a song I've been listening to lately that kind of describes the mood of how we're going to get through this thing together. Be careful, but also don't worry. Be happy. So, don't worry, be happy. Guys, we're going to need positivity to get through this together. Give it your best and do the best that we can do. Every day, we're going to start off rough. Just try to be a little bit better the next day than you were yesterday. So today, maybe you sat down and did absolutely nothing but watch animated yesterday. Well, today we're going to get up and move just a little bit, all right? Tomorrow, we'll move just a little bit more. And then we'll get slowly back to where we were. And then we'll progress on. It's called the rule of progressive overload. But aside from that, let's keep on moving, guys.
You got this. We got this.
You can do it. Now, Mr. Mitchell is going to show us one of the skills here in a minute. But we want to remind you, too, kind of the schedule of a normal week. Mondays, we'll greet you every day, but Mondays we'll greet you. You might have a video to watch. So a lot of times we're going to send you to do a video, and we expect you to work hard. Then come back, and we'll review it with you. Not after every video, but after some of the videos, you'll come back, and we'll give you instructions on that. Mr. Shoemaker is going to talk a little bit, real quick, about the thing we do at the very end to keep clean and to stuff like that, Mr. Shoemaker.
Certainly. So here's the deal, guys. The bottom line is this is going to be a physical education environment, and I don't profess to know where you live or what you do outside your own time. That's your own business, all right? But some of you guys may live in a nice big house with 5 ACs outside, and it's 45 degrees inside the house, you like it cold. Some of you guys might be in an apartment and you got no AC and you're sweating. Kind of like we're sweating here because it's warm in here.
It is warm.
That's okay, all right? The point is, when you're working hard, what your body does is, when you're working hard and you're moving, all right, the way your body cools down is it produces sweat. So if you're working hard in here during your workouts, when we get to those, you'll be producing sweat. And what that does is, your sweat glands produce a fluid, and then the wind will come help dry the fluid and helps remove heat from your body. All right? That's how the human body naturally cools itself down. But a side effect of that is the bacteria that eats the waste in the sweat makes us stink. Okay? So, you guys are all old enough now, you're 7th graders and 8th graders. There are a couple of things that we're going to talk to you about that are pretty much a necessity for yourselves going forward. All right? When you work out, you should always clean yourself. All right? That means at school, you should think about wiping down and cleaning yourself, at least your pits in your forehead, and wipe off in your private parts. But here's the deal. The one benefit of this is you're at home right now. So you have a shower in your house. All right? It's a private shower where you shower every day. So after you do our workout, we're going to give you about 15, 20 minutes at the end. You should go in to the shower. Clean yourself. Make sure you shut off your camera. We don't want to see it. All right? Go do it on your own. Get in the shower. Clean yourself. Use soap and water. All right? Wipe down all the areas where there's sweat, particularly under your armpits and in your private areas. That's where you accumulate a lot of sweat, but your whole body. All right? Suds it up. All right? Get in the shower. Rinse it off. Right? Clean all that funk off you. Then, put on some nice clean clothes, brush your choppers, and make sure that you are nice and refreshed and ready to go to that next class. So, we're going to have that built in because we expect you to be working hard in here. All right? You're on the honor system. You're going to be working hard at your own push. But the point is, you should always be working at a level where you're getting a good workout in.
So Mr. Mitchell's going to show us a special skill of his. Some of you might know it. Now the thing is he usually likes to try to scare Mr. Shoemaker and I. Today we asked him just to do it in an announced way, but that's going to kind of usually end our videos. And then he's going to ask me a question, and I'll ask Mr. Shoemaker a question. We'll be out of here. Mr. Mitchell.
It was how I basically called my kids in last year when we were out on the fields. Oh, I can't wait for those days again, but when we were out there and it was time to roll call, I would always roll call. And that was how I brought everybody in, and then we talked for a minute, and then that was the day.
And then I would say to my class, why do we show up? Building healthy relationships. What's the purpose of Bret Hart? HR spirit, honesty, respect,
responsibility. And for us, we know it. We're going to push, always push. Push yourself to be a little bit better yesterday, a little bit better than you were yesterday, today, and keep pushing yourself, challenge yourself. Also, it's an acronym that stands for practicing unity, sportsmanship, and health, all right? Make sure that you have unity in the classroom environment, at your home, wherever that may be. Show good sportsmanship, which is basically just common courtesy and honorability and character wherever you are, and of course health. We wouldn't be in the situation if people were not concerned for your health, and we want you guys to be as healthy as you can be, and we want maybe 50 years down the line, Mr. Shoemaker is going to the doctor, and it's one of you guys saying, hey, Mr. Shoemaker, you were my 7th grade PE teacher, and you're along that line, all right? We don't want you to have an early demise or be too sick to enjoy life. So make sure we do that. Push on 3. 1, 2, 3, push!